Hello, this is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, May 22nd. We are playing around with some new formats. Each briefing could be a little bit different, so please, when you look at this briefing today, if you can, take a few seconds at the end and look in the comments section of this briefing if you open it up in YouTube and leave a comment in the comments section. Greatly appreciate your feedback. The good, the bad, or the neutral, we do want to know before we settle in on a permanent format for this coming fire season. So let's get into it. Weather-wise, we're looking at gradual warming and drying trends through the weekend. Temperatures going up about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. There's a wind event ahead of a cold front across northwestern Nevada and parts of western Idaho on Monday. Some areas there have dried out, and the fuels will continue to steadily dry out into the next few days, probably into the 80th or 90th percentile in the ERC and 100-hour fuels, as we do expect warmer and drier conditions for at least the next couple of days. Impact map shows this. We see that warmth developing across the far western portion of the Great Basin today and covering the entire region. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures expected to be about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. There'll be some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Not a lot, but could be a handful of lightning strikes. Some of our southern areas are on the dry side. We've had a record low snowpack in the mountains, so a little bit of concern, and it won't be a lot of strikes, maybe just a handful each day, but something we'll have to keep an eye out as we go through the weekend. Now, over the last 24 hours, just a few light trace amounts of precipitation in eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and along the high Sierra crest. A handful of lightning strikes along the Sierra. We'll have to watch that as we get hotter and drier this weekend. Otherwise, most of the other lightning is off to our east. Overall, it's been fairly dry across most areas, just some light precipitation amounts. That first shade, just a couple hundredths of an inch spread across 7 days, and some of it's radar estimated, which means it doesn't even reach the ground. You can see the percent of normal, a large area of that 0 to 10% in the, or 0 to 5% in that darker red or brown color across the region. I should go back. We did have some precipitation that wetted things down across the Uinta Basin, the Wasatch, Uintas, and down into eastern Utah. So it'll take a couple of days for things to bounce back up there and across parts of southwest Utah. Overall fire activity, we had a few small starts here in the red in the last 24 hours. Recent fires in the yellow. We did have some large fire activity of several thousand acres across parts of the Snake River Plain and also across central Utah. So again, things are dry. We get a couple of hot, dry days. That is a concern. The 2-month flash drought index shows the most extreme drought conditions across our southern areas, but also starting to spread into our central areas on northwards into parts of southern Idaho as well. The 10-hour fuels expected to be in the probably the 7 to 9% range in the far south, and or I should say the 5 to 7% range, and again in the upper single digits as you head further north. So things drying out, and this will get a little more progressive and should say worse in the coming days. Looking at our fuel conditions, 2 areas picked out here in northwest Nevada where they will be warming up and drying out. You can see where we currently are here in the blue, and then where we will possibly end up in the next 5 to 7 days. That's somewhere above, just above the 80th percentile. In the Arizona Strip, even a little bit more. We're flirting with the 90th percentile. We dropped down a little bit into the 85th with a bit of higher humidity and spotty precipitation, but expected to steadily rise into about the 92nd or 93rd percentile by early next week. So looking at weather, we do on the top panel here, this is a kind of a new format for us. If you're watching this on a cell phone, you may want to expand this and do a landscape on it so the images cover your whole phone. Now, we have high pressure building off the Pacific. We do see a gradual warming and drying trend, a little bit of lingering mid-level moisture here in southeast areas. As we go into Saturday and Sunday, we see drier air pushing in. This high pressure area here on Sunday is nosing northward. It's going to start bumping up temperatures. So we see on our 7-day fire potential, we maintain the most critical areas in the south. Now, in terms of winds, not much wind this weekend. Locally breezy, where you see the dark green, maybe 12 to 20-mile-an-hour gusts in the afternoon through central Nevada. They will have some lightning here, possibly isolated, so I'll keep an eye on that. Looking at the minimum humidity, we see a lot of upper single digits in the southern areas, and that dry air does expand a bit further northwards. Precipitation-wise, just spotty light precipitation, and again, maybe 1/100 of an inch here and there, maybe one or two lightning strikes here or there, and maybe getting a little bit more widespread over northeastern Nevada and northern Utah, southern Idaho later in the period. Now, days 4 through 6, on Monday, we see an unseasonably deep low pressure area dropping down out of the Gulf of Alaska. The tight packing of these yellow height lines means increasing winds. Those strongest winds will be across northwestern Nevada, western Idaho. So we've elevated to moderate risk in those areas through there. The winds will accelerate the drying as well. That low progresses and tracks across the northern Rockies and then drops down right into the center of the Great Basin on Wednesday. That's going to bring much cooler temperatures, a rise in humidity, especially across central and eastern areas. So you see on the 7-day fire potential as we go from Monday, things start moistening up a little bit on Tuesday and especially on Wednesday. A lot of our northern and into our eastern areas should see fire potential become much more minimal. When we see the winds, you can see our main concern here in northwest Nevada. Some areas are marginally critically dry. We've had some fire activity in the southwest Idaho area in recent days. We do have that potential for wind up there as well. Moderately breezy winds in southern areas also on Tuesday. And then there'll be some strong northerly winds on Wednesday, but that's going to come with higher humidity on Wednesday. Notice the humidity on Wednesday, about 30 to 40% in those areas. So really, it looks like Monday is our last really dry day across a lot of areas before that rising humidity trend starts to take hold. Precipitation days 4 through 6 on Monday, spotty precipitation up north and southeastern areas being seen by Tuesday and Wednesday. Even though there's nothing heavy, the overall coverage of precipitation does start to increase, and whenever you get that, you do get an overall rise in minimum relative humidity. So that's something we'll keep in mind. And just as a wrap up here, 7-day significant fire potential outlook, you can see our most critical areas are in the south through the weekend. And then as we warm up and dry out, there is an added concern across western or northwestern areas of Nevada and southwest Idaho with the strong winds ahead of that front, and then a gradual moistening trend as we go towards the end of the period. And the 6 to 10-day outlook shows the warmest air across the country shifting further eastwards will be near normal, but again, normal, the end of May is pretty warm. Possibly a bit more isolated shower activity, nothing heavy across the area at the end of May. And keep in mind, normals are near nothing, so this could just be a couple of hundredths of an inch drier as you head further west. Thanks for watching our broadcast. Please leave your comments in the comments section. If you open up this briefing in YouTube, you see the comments down below. Just type it in there. If you're logged into, you have to be logged into Google to do that, so it's a little bit of an added element. But appreciate your comments. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Sunday and Monday, and we'll start more of our 7-day operations fire weather briefings next week. Have a good one.